Thank you for joining this session on how technology can optimise food services within the NHS, enhancing efficiency and patient experience. And this presentation will explore briefly the current challenges, some technological solutions, and look at some of the future food service in healthcare. Okay, so to start, we need to look at the scale and the importance of food within the NHS. And this is a quote that I often use, but I think it really does emphasise what's done on a daily basis by your food service teams. And I will read it out. So, imagine a restaurant where there's 1,000 people who must be fed all at once, where your kitchen is half a mile away, where your chefs cannot season the food without written permission, where half of your customers feel ill, and none of them want to be there anyway, where menus must include options to satisfy dietary, medical, ethnic and religious demands, where 66% of your diners are between 65 and 90 years old, and your budget for a 3-course meal and drink is £2.49. Welcome to the world of patient catering. And that really does emphasise the challenges that you have and your teams on every single day that you're at work. So, with thousands of meals served daily across various facilities, it's clear that efficient food service is crucial for patient care and operational success. So, Eric 2023 said we did 185 million meals per year. It's 351 meals every single minute. And the scale of that, and having to ensure that we meet all those patient and dietary needs, can sometimes look incredibly daunting. There are hundreds of expert catering staff in hospital. They may not stand at the bedside every day, but the fruits of their labour arrive at the ward to nourish, to cheer, respecting dietary needs. Patient care is not just about medicines, bandages, treatments and surgical procedures. It is also about nutrition and hydration as well, and food is medicine. The NHS faces several challenges in food service delivery, from managing high costs and food waste to catering to diverse dietary needs as described, and these challenges call for some innovation to look at the solutions that we can do. We have high operational costs, cost of food, and while inflation has slowed, prices are still climbing, and climate change is impacting on the growing seasons both here and abroad. Only this week, the latest crop report said about potatoes in particular, initial yields look lower than last season, quality issues, the upcoming season will be challenging, the full extent will not be known until the end of November. And that is going to impact on the costs that you have in your hospitals. Food waste reduction. It is estimated by RAP, and I have to emphasise that the last estimate was by RAP, and hopefully the ERIC data that we have received this year will give us a better picture of where we are with food waste within the NHS. But RAP have estimated in the last time they did this that 20% of all the food that is produced in the NHS is wasted. That equates to 100,000 meals every single day. All that plate waste is nutrition that has not been consumed by a patient. And if you are spending time with your chefs are spending time in producing nutritionally balanced meals with your dietitians, that is not helping that patient if they're not eating it. Diverse dietary needs, as we described before, but more than that, this changes from region to region, and allergy awareness is becoming incredibly important, and patient choice, where it's not just around religious reasons, but we understand that our demographics are requiring less meat, and we have to be aware of that. But also, when we're looking at that, we need to make certain we're aware of the ultra-processed foods that are also coming on the market. And limited staff resources. Only this morning when I was talking to caterers upstairs about saying how difficult it is in finding qualified staff. And that's not just within the food, but that is within the whole of the NHS. Within the hospitality sector, the NHS is fighting lots of other sectors in areas where we don't pay as much as they do as well. So it's a struggle to sometimes get those qualified staff in. And I couldn't stand here in front of you and not mention net zero with my job title. So, you're all involved in writing green plans, looking at carbon reduction, and looking at sustainable nutrition. And it's really important that you balance the sustainability of nutrition with the emphasis on the patient as well. The patient has to be the first thing that we always think of. So, the role of technology. Technology offers us promising solutions to optimise our food service, enhancing both patient recovery and their experience. Automation can streamline operations, data analytics can enhance menu planning, and digital platforms can improve patient engagement. Apologies, the right one. Okay, so one example of the use is IoT in kitchen operations. Does everybody know what IoT is? Oh, God, I didn't know either when I was researching this. So IoT stands for Internet of Things. And everybody here will have that within there. Who has Alexa at home? Alexa is IoT technology. It's Internet of Things. It's where it can search for something and it will talk to other things rather than just talking to you. So in the kitchen, in the NHS, we could be using ovens that can be turned on at home so that you do not have to have them on at 6 o'clock in the morning and then cooking all the way through till 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the evening. You can turn them on. You will also be able to change them from roasting to grilling to holding, all done automatically. So the oven will work better, you're getting better yield from the food, and you're not wasting emissions. And AI will ensure that recipes are followed exactly. And I've seen some robots here. I worked with Sofitech a couple of years ago looking at robots to deliver food to wards overnight for staff who are working on wards and just taking up snacks for them so they don't have to leave the wards overnight. So which they can show significant benefits in terms of consistency, speed, cost savings, making it a viable option for us to consider in the NHS. I should have clicked that before, I apologise. Data-driven menu planning. It's another area where technology can make a difference. By using predictive analytics, we can better cater for our patient preferences while minimising waste. With real-time access to data, seeing line-by-line breakdowns of costs, usage, and any profits that are coming from the retail areas, kitchens can make informed decisions about how to improve their stock management, ensuring they only order the ingredients and reduce costs and minimise food waste. Some EMO suppliers and platforms can use the data of patients' choices to integrate with procurement and order instantly when it is required, rather than having just in case we needed operations. And digital feedback systems, allowing patients to provide real-time input on meals, leading to quick adjustments and improved service quality. And this is relatively simple. A QR code at a bedside can provide so much information to a patient in an instant, from menus and specials, allowing the caterers to add to their standard menus provenance information, and satisfaction surveys. This allows caterers to respond quicker to issues and concerns and will enhance patient experience. And this can be equally done for staff and visitor feeding. There's no reason why that can't be done. And by using this in the correct manner, that possibility of bad feedback coming, and I'm certain anybody has seen the negative impact that social media can have on some of our catering colleagues. It's important that we nip that in the bud, and using this, and I've seen it in 5 to 6 hospitals, primarily in the London area, I will admit that, but where they all have QR codes and are able to go straight into speaking to directly with the catering teams. So, the benefits of technology. Yes, I've got the right slide. Malnutrition affects 20 to 50% of hospital inpatients on admission, and with further declines expected during hospitalisation of up to 65% in the most recent survey. The integration of technology brings numerous benefits, including cost savings, better patient outcomes, and more sustainable food service practices. The best way to reduce the carbon footprint of the NHS is to keep patient stays as short as possible, and nutrition plays an incredibly important role in that. While the benefits are clear, there are challenges that you have to consider. The initial cost of implementation. Cost versus benefit is always a question asked of facilities teams, whether that is in catering, in portering, or in cleaning. With an ageing workforce, the need for staff training and willingness change needs to have proper and considered thought, and is probably one of the most important things. In the NHS, we are incredibly good at telling people what to do. What we're not very good at doing is telling people why they need to do it, and we have to get better at that. Ensuring that your due diligence is done, highlight the benefits, clearly communicate how technology can simplify tasks. It's not about replacing people. It is about simplifying their job load, their workload. Start small, introduce simple, user-friendly technologies before progressing onto those more complex solutions. And a really important thing is to foster a community, create forums for users to share experience and build enthusiasm for things. About 6 to 7 years ago, I was working with a trust, and they moved to Apple, like iPods effectively, to signal when they wanted patients moving. And the first instance was that, oh, this is never going to work, our workforce is far too old, they're never going to get into technology. And the whole team was incredibly surprised how it worked, and that was done, it primarily was done because they brought in somebody who was a proper teacher, and somebody who could teach the reasoning behind doing something. And once they understood, it was about making their role easier and the patient's role easier, not about eliminating the workforce. The whole team worked in a much better and cohesive way. So it's important that you really look at how you put any kind of messaging out around your technology. And obviously, with data security is never far from our minds, so bear in mind GDPR and any malicious attacks and viruses that may cause damage to your systems. So looking ahead, future trends. AI for personalised nutrition. In contrast to traditional nutrition planning, which typically takes and requires multiple in-person consultations, that is both time-consuming and costly, and we know that the access to food service dietitians can be minimal in some trusts. AI nutritionists streamline this process. They automate the collection and analysis of the personal health data. They significantly boost efficiency and reduce cost by providing individualized nutritional guidance that is affordable and timely. And equipped with machine learning capabilities, they can further adapt that diet plans and meal recommendations to accommodate individual dietary sensitivities, allergies, and health conditions. And that kind of AI technology, IoT, would be able to link in with your EPR and with electronic meal ordering systems, and all of a sudden you have a whole cohort of technology which is both reducing costs but increasing patient experience. And again, that's the most important thing that we need to think about. Blockchain for supply chain transparency, incredibly important when we're thinking about net zero. End-to-end visibility, Blockchain provides real-time visibility into the entire supply chain process. Every participant in the whole supply chain, from the raw materials to suppliers to the manufacturers and wholesalers and retailers, can access all the same data at the same time. And this is incredibly important in your carbon reduction planning. And when you're building and looking at your green plans and ensuring that that food and nutrition is in there, and how you can reduce that carbon impact within your catering teams. The overall impact is due to be at 6%, but we need to make certain that we are targeting the right areas of reduction in there. And IoT kitchen equipment, which will further transform NHS food services. We cook an incredible amount of diverse range and volume of food served. And we have different appliance configurations, we have different capacities, and various operational choices, whether you batch cook, whether you cook to order, whether it's fresh versus frozen, cook, chill. It is one thing to consider and specifying a more efficient hob or a more efficient grill. It is a totally another thing to consider, do you need that at all? Do we have any catering managers in the room? Please put your hand up. Don't be shy, please. How many of you have walking away from the mic, how many of you have employed people to cook fried eggs for breakfast? Yeah. How many of you employ somebody to stand over a hob and put fried eggs in oil and cook it for breakfast? And they're there from 7 o'clock in the morning until 9? Yeah. A combi oven can cook 36, 48, 76 fried eggs in about 12 to 15 seconds. And you just put one little spray of oil in there, you put it in, and you put it in, and that's it. And that person goes off, does something else, comes back, pings, you take it out, you put it on there. Minimizing waste, minimizing time, minimizing energy. That is what we should be using this equipment for. Upstairs there are, and I'm sure in your kitchens as well, in your trusts, you will have a wide range and various cooking equipment, from Bonnet to Hobart to Rationale to Ratigo to Unox. I would estimate that you are probably using about 10% of its capabilities. And it's important that you start to look at how you can make those things work better for you. It is not about reducing somebody's time, but those people who are stood frying eggs could actually, in the pastry room, making fresh cakes which could be served to staff and patients rather than paying to buy them in. So it's about using the equipment that you have. And they can help reduce emissions as well, and therefore further reduce your costs. So, to conclude, I'm going to put all those on. So to conclude, optimising food services through technology is not just beneficial, but necessary for us all in the NHS. Embracing innovation will lead to improved efficiency, better patient care, and our long-term sustainability. But whilst embracing new technology and not being resistant to a change, it's important the technology chosen must integrate. There are too many stories of software not being able to talk to each other, incurring extra costs for patches and upgrades. And whatever decisions are made, you always need to put the patient at the heart and centre of everything we do. Patient safety, patient nutrition, patient care. After all, that is why you do what you do day in and day out. Thank you.